So looking for these papers the other day, I had stumbled up on this book. So these papers are from 11/23/23. I was up early getting to it, but I couldn't figure out what I did with them because I was supposed to have been putting them in a folder. Long story short, didn't find it. But in doing so, while searching, I found a box my wife had full of books from college. And this book, of course, caught my attention because the title, From Slavery to Freedom. I said I'd stop looking for this and decided, let me take a glance at this, see what they're talking about in this book. Looked like an old beat up book, so surely I'm like, let me gather some information up out of this book. So I haven't dived into it. I just flipped through the pages, and sure enough, I said, if I see a map, I'm gonna check out the map. Because of course, talking about slavery, you gotta talk about the transatlantic slave trade. So in this book, I found a map, and the map is showing the routes. Knowing what to look for, I know the slaves was taken from Africa, from the West Coast to be specific. And I showed y'all before old maps of the West Coast being called Negro Land. And I showed y'all the Kingdom of Judah there and things like that. So I was anxious to see what would they have displayed on this map in this book. Because, you know, they try to hide things. So I knew what to look for. You see, that's the Horn of Africa, or West Africa, what they call the Horn. So I knew the key in this area. And I found what I needed. Ouida. So glancing at that, you wouldn't think none of it. But we're gonna see what Ouida means. So I typed in Ouida on Google, and it say Ouida is a city in southern Benin in West Africa. It is known for its role in the 17th to 19th century Atlantic slave trade. The slave route, a track down which slaves were taken to ships, is lined with monuments and leads to the door of no return, the point of no return. So I just wanted to show y'all that. I showed y'all here, Ouida. And I showed y'all what Google had to say about Ouida. So all I typed in was Ouida, nothing else. Now what I'm about to type in is the definition of Ouida. What do it mean? So I typed in the name Ouida, meaning in Dutch. Because if you type in Ouida by itself, like Ouida meaning I put in French at first, it's gonna say, oh, it don't have a direct meaning in French or a direct meaning in Dutch, as we see here, but it was historically referred to by several European names, including Fida, and French was Ouida, so forth and so forth, meaning the same thing, y'all. So don't let it confuse y'all. So take a close look here. So I'm gonna just leave it starting with Dutch. Leave it at Dutch. So Fida, because you'll see Fida on the Negro Land map, on the West African map as well. You'll see Ouida, Fida, Ouida, all type of names. And like the 1732 map of West Africa had KM, Kingdom of Judah. They had it spelled Juda. So if you look at the origin of the name, Ouida, second pinpoint, Ouida is a European adaptation of Huda, or I forgot how to pronounce that. The name of the kingdom, which itself is based on the indigenous name Glihu. Other European names, Europeans use various spellings for the names such as Ouida, English, Judah, French, and Judah, Portuguese. You see that? Now you can say, all right, Trey, you reaching. Nah. The Europeans, who was the Europeans? The Europeans was the slavers. They the cartographers, they the slavers. So I said, look up this word. So I highlighted that word and I went to search it on Google. Google was giving me the runaround when I was typing in what's the meaning. So I just jumped straight to the point. And I said, it means Judah. And this is what popped up. Huda or Wida Judah is the name of a historical West African kingdom and port city in modern day Benin. I didn't highlight this part. This was highlighted on its own. Its name is phonetically similar to the biblical name Judah, which led early Portuguese and other European traders and cartographers to refer to the kingdom and its inhabitants using the term Judah or Judah. Y'all see that? I can't make this up. I love this. I love this truth being revealed. These people found out, the European settlers, I call them settlers, the European slavers found out what Judah was and went there and enslaved Judah and did this to Judah. They knew who Judah was. They know who Judah is. So when you see Kingdom of Judah on the West African map, y'all need to know who Judah is. And they give it to us right here. I just noticed that as I was just talking. Judah, the son of Jacob. Etymology, the Hebrew name for Judah, Yehuda, literally thanksgiving or praise, is the noun form of the root word YHD, to thank or to praise. We got God name in our name, Yahudah. Amen. So it's a point that I'm trying to tie in. Bear with me. So this is a 1747 West African map. And right here y'all see KM, meaning Kingdom of Judah, or Wida. And this is the slave coast. This is where they got the slave coast. Look, Wida, Judah. Other places that have Fida, because they took the Judah off and they put Fida, and I think that was what, Dutch. But don't be confused. All it is when they switching the names, they using their language. The European nations, the colonizers, the enslavers. That's all. That's their translation. Like we know, Wida, all that means Judah. So it's just a coincidence, right? That the slaves that was trafficked across the world to the four corners of the earth was took from this place in the west coast of Africa called Negro Land, and there they are labeled as named Judah. By these people. In the next page of this book, it show you the slave ships. It show you how the decks was laid out, how many people was put on the decks. Look how our folks was packed in them ships. Regulated slave trade. This is history that you cannot erase, no matter how hard y'all try to blank it out like it never happened. The world gonna pay for this. Y'all gonna pay. But notice that storage of the British slave ship. See how it all tied together? The British Empire. So now I want to read to y'all some things from this book. Starting with this paragraph right here. Since slaves were continually being brought in from Africa, overseers found it necessary to develop a practice of breaking in the newcomers. In some areas, the newcomers were distributed among the seasoned or veteran slaves whose duty it was to teach the newly arrived slaves the ways of life in the new world. In other places, the newcomers were kept apart and supervised by a special staff of guardians and inspectors who were experienced in breaking in those who might offer resistance to adjusting to their new environment. And a lot of that, when they say breaking in, look into the buck breaking that they was doing, raping strong men, breaking them down. That's the part that they leaving out. Raping men, raping little boys. I'll show y'all. The mortality rate among newly arrived slaves was exponentially high, with estimates of deaths running to as much as 30% in a seasoning period of 3 or 4 years. Old and new diseases, change of climate and food exposure and running away, suicide, and excessive flogging were among the main causes of the high mortality rate. In the West Indies, slaves were sent to the farms at daybreak, and they labored all day except for a 30-minute period for breakfast, and a 2-hour period in the hottest portion of the day, which was frequently the time set aside for doing lighter chores. At harvest time, the workday was much longer, sometimes 18 hours. The driver or overseer did not distinguish between men and women and work requirements, or implying a lash for the look, that's crazy. This is all biblical. Come on, focus. It said, I gotta show y'all this. I gotta go to the scriptures on this. They didn't regard, for one, daybreak, they got you working in the hot sun, and high noonday, you out there, you working. And if you get out of line, you was only, you had to work all day except a 30-minute breakfast? What? And if you got out of line, man or woman, they didn't care. You was getting lashes for not fulfilling your duties. Hold on. I always got to come back to Deuteronomy chapter 28. All throughout the Bible, it talk about it. But this right here is the billboard. The blasting of what he was going to do to his people. So right here from verse 1 to 15 to talk about how God will bless you if you do right. From 15 on down, it'll talk about the curses for disobeying God. So talk about the Lord shall cause you to be smitten before your enemies. You shall go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed, taken into all the kingdoms of the earth. And your carcass shall be meat for the fowls of the air, and for the beasts of the earth, and no man shall take them away. They ain't gonna be able to chase them away. Look at verse 29. I just want to pinpoint some of the stuff that we just read in that book. And y'all tell me if if that book, From Freedom to Slavery, is talking about what happened to the slaves, if it's sounding like what's coming out of this Bible. Are we not living what this Bible talk about? And I'm not trying to say that these people was able to manipulate the Bible and have us to live the condition. No, ain't no way possible. No way possible was them people able to do this to us unless God allowed it. And God allowed it. He took his hands off of us for our disobedience, and he said these things was going to happen to us. That's how it happened. You wonder how did these people come against us and overtake us? And look, just look. Verse 29. And you shall grope at noonday, as the blind grope in darkness, and you shall not prosper in your ways, and you should be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save you. So you should get a wife, and another man gon' rape her, gon' lay with her. You should build a house, and you should not live in it. You should plant a vineyard, and should not gather the grapes thereof. So you're gonna be planting fruits and vegetables. You're gonna be picking in the field, but you can't eat it. You picking it for somebody else, for your oppressors. Your sons and your daughters should be given to another people, and your eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there should be no might in your hand. No might in your hand. You ain't gonna be able to do nothing about it. What it say when we just started our reading at the bottom of here? It says, since slaves were constantly being brought in from Africa, overseers found it necessary to develop a practice of breaking in the newcomers. In some areas, newcomers were distributed among the season, meaning that mean there was a group of people took from one group, shuffled around, and then the breaking in period came. What they mean by well seasoned, that mean people that was already broken in. Slaves that's gonna tell you, hey man, just do it, do what master say. Don't cause no trouble here, man. Don't, stuff like that. Is this Bible coming alive? Another thing from the book that stood out when they talk about how they didn't care if it was man or woman, if they wasn't out there in that field, no matter if it was hot, no matter the conditions, and they wasn't producing what they needed to produce, they was gonna get beat. Check this curse. Therefore you shall serve your enemies, which the Lord shall send against you, in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon your neck until he have destroyed you. The Lord shall bring a nation against you from afar, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. Are we gonna get there? Matter of fact, let's get there. It said a nation of fierce countenance, right? Angry men, ruthless men. So it said investigations made by the British Parliament in 1790 and 91 brought out, gotta get this all in focus. Come on, man. Brought out the fact that pregnant women were forced to work up to the time of childbirth, and that a month was the maximum amount of time allowed for recovery from childbearing. Pregnant women were lashed severely when they were unable to keep pace with the other workers. Women who paused in the fields to care for their babies, whom they carried on their backs, were lashed with cart whips for idling away their time. Food was on the whole insufficient for slaves. Planters did not often encourage any type of diversified agriculture that would have provided food for the workers. What we just read here, matter of fact, let's keep going. Man, what we just read here. I just saw it. Look, right after that in the Bible, in that book, you see it was the pregnant woman was gonna get beat. She had to work up until she had the baby, and only was given a month to recover and back out there in the field with that baby on her back. And if she stopped to care for that baby, she got beat some more. A nation of fierce countenance, the Bible said, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. And then we just read what it said about food, right? In that book. Rewind it back and line it up together. Look at verse 51. And he should eat the fruit of your cattle and the fruit of thy hand until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave you neither corn nor wine nor oil or the increase of your kind, or flocks of your sheep until he have destroyed you. Man, it gets deep. Boy. Israel will be scattered. And it should come to pass that as the Lord rejoiced over you to do you good, and to multiply you, so the Lord will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to nothing. And ye should be plucked from off the land where thou goest to possess. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. It will be no ease or rest for Israel. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord shall give thee there a trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and a sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have no assurance of your life. You will have no assurance on whether you will live or you will die. You will be in that field all day, noonday, high day, rain, sleet, hail, or snow, hot, burning, 100 plus degree weather, with your newborn baby and all. What? It's not a joke. Verse 67, in the morning thou shalt say, "Ooh, God, it were evening." You'll be wishing it was over. And at evening you will say, "Ooh, God, it were morning." For the fear of your heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of your eyes which you shall see, are the things you shall see. I'm gonna wrap it up with this. What was gonna be the mode of transportation for this slavery, for this worldwide slavery? Remember, he said Israel will be scattered. And the mode of transportation was going to be what? And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye should be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Nobody gonna get you out of this. Nobody gonna redeem you, not buy you. As far as, oh, I got slaves for sale. It ain't saying nobody gonna say, oh, I don't want to buy that slave. No, that buy word is redeem you. Nobody's gonna redeem you from these situations, from all these curses. Nobody gonna redeem you. Look up the Hebrew word for buy is redeem. And as far as Egypt, don't think it's talking about physical Egypt. Egypt is synonymous with the house of bondage. I done showed y'all. Look at the back of the dollar. All these nations, they all together. Egypt is synonymous with the house of bondage. In America, and the Freemasons, they stole the knowledge of Egypt. And that's how they operate. The occult knowledge. Now, back to this book. Israel is going to be scattered all over the world. Now look what happened to the Negroes. The Negroes that came from Weeda, which we just saw, is Judah. That was Judah that they grabbed from the slave coast. That was Judah that they packed in these slave ships. Now, why is Judah Why is it so important? Out of all the 12 tribes, why is Judah pinpointed? Isaiah chapter 11, starting at verse 11. And it shall come to pass, that and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again a second time to recover the remnant of his people, which should be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. Now, when I read these words, it just seem like, oh, them just words, right? Because with no understanding, that's what it is to you. But what just happened here is a list of where his folks, where his people was going to be gathered from. The remnant was going to be gathered from, meaning this is where they left from, because our homeland was Jerusalem. And we fled. 70 AD, we fled. And we went into these places. And from these places, we was led away captive. Some remain. It's a remnant still there. But mainly, this is the places that we left off from, that we were scattered from. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel. I mean, he gonna gather the outcasts of Israel, because all 12 tribes are not united until the end. He's gonna do this. Those fake people that's over there in that land now was given that land by these people. I'm gonna show y'all that next, and that's how I'm gonna end this off. Man, time flies when you're having a good time, because I'm already 30 minutes in. So he should set up an ensign for the nation. He gonna gather the 12 tribes, right, of Israel. And then he said, well, this Israel, when he talking about Israel, he talking about the northern kingdom, because the kingdom was split into two. So these are the 10 tribes, the outcasts of Israel. That's the 10 tribes. Then he say, and gather together the dispersed of Judah. So something happened to Judah that didn't happen to the rest of these tribes. Where he got to gather Judah from? From the four corners of the earth. Judah was snatched from here, from this place, and took all over the world. That's what happened to Judah. Show y'all one more time. I'm gonna show y'all Christ's Christ's words. Luke chapter 21. Y'all done heard these things before, but I like to go over it again and show y'all more evidence and, tie it in well for y'all. This talking about the last days. Starting at verse 20. Take heed and watch. And when ye shall see Jerusalem, this is our home, that's where we come from, compassed, meaning surrounded with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh, is near. The desolation is coming. This is Christ talking to the people. He said, then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. Why, Christ? For these be the days of vengeance. So this is the payback that's coming, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. What you talking about? He talking about all the things that's been written in the Old Testament by the prophets, prophesying that these days will come. For disobedience, God gonna do this, God gonna do that. And he ain't playing. So while the people were saying, oh man, get out my face, we don't want to hear that. And God was saying, I'm gonna make your words, the words that I'm gonna put in your mouth to his prophets, Jeremiah specifically, I'm gonna make the words that I'm gonna put in your mouth is gonna be like fire, and then people gonna be like wood. And what happened with fire and wood? Burn them up. So look. So these be the days of vengeance, that all things that are written may be fulfilled. And what's that, Christ? But woe unto them that are with child, that's pregnant, and to them that give suck, breastfeeding in those days. For there should be a great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and should be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down, meaning taken over. By who? By the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. And the times of the Gentiles being fulfilled is when Christ come back to destroy them. So we was kicked out of our land. We was told to get up out of our land. We fled from our land because he gave warning. When you see this happening, flee. Where do we always flee? South, down, Egypt. We never fled north into Japheth territory. We always fled down into Ham territory, the Africans. Where we blended in at. Always. Not only that, Judah had a baby mama from down that way. That's why we knew we had folks down there that we can go kick it with. And we was there chilling. We was getting persecuted along the way while them Gentile nations was on the hunt for us to enslave us. Because these be the days of vengeance that it was written, that it was going to happen, and we was going to be led away captive into all nations. Now y'all tell me, who was led away captive into all nations? On slave ships. I'll wait. Now it was something I said I was going to show y'all. Yes, the British Empire. The imposters that's in the land now. Well, what do you know? Full circle. Look up the Balfour Declaration. And y'all gonna see how the modern people that's in that land now was given it by the biggest head, the first head, the Eagle Empire, of the Eagle Empire. So say the Balfour Declaration was a 1917 letter from British Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour to Zionist leader Lord Rothschild, Lord Red Shield. But that's a different topic for a whole nother day. That expressed the British government support for a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, issued during World War I. The declaration is considered a foundational document for the state of Israel, though it has also been a source of significant controversy due to its impact on the Palestinian population. And the declaration statement about protecting existing rights was seen by some as being compromised in practice. So here we are, we see Britain gave the land over to the Rothschilds, the Ashkenazi Jews. Let's see. Who is Lord Rothschild? So I just clicked on it, and you see who the Rothschild family is. I want them to snitch on themselves. So I put the mouse over Rothschild banking family, and this is what popped up. The Rothschild family is a wealthy Ashkenazi Jewish noble banking family originally from Frankfurt. The family's documented history starts in the 16th century Frankfurt. Its name is derived from the family house Rothschilds, built in Isaac Ashkelon, how do you pronounce that? But the family house, remember that Rothschilds was telling you about, meaning red shield. They put the red shield in front of their house. But look at their coat of arms. Y'all see the eagle head? Do you see it? So now, it gotta be clear to y'all. These fake people in our land claiming to be God people, but they not. They the synagogue of Satan. Now remember the Gentiles, remember how Christ, we still here. I can show y'all right here since we here. Remember how he say, for these be the days written, these be the days of vengeance, that all things that was written must be fulfilled. And that, his folks was going to be led away captive, because Christ is from Judah too. If y'all didn't know, he's the Lion of the tribe of Judah that's going to tear up that ego. Y'all don't know how deep this get. That Christ is your folks. Literally, your bloodline. You got his blood pumping through your veins. So look at 24 again. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword. Talking about Judea. Remember that? Look up there. Judea. Judah was going to fall by the edge of the sword and be led away captives into all nations. And Jerusalem, which was our home, shall be trodden down, taken over, stumped down, walked over by the Gentiles, until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled, until these Gentiles be knocked off. Now you can say, okay, Trey, what you mean Gentiles? They the Gentiles. Well, look at this name again. The Rothschild family is a wealthy Ashkenazi Jewish noble banking family. Now they saying Jew is a derivative of Judah. That's what they say, right? That's what they say. But Judah don't come from Ashkenaz. Notice the Nazi at the end of it, right? Same people, it's right at our face. But let's see where that Ashkenazi word can be found. The Ashkenazi name can be found in the Bible. Genesis chapter 10 is the table of nations. Now this is after the flood. Now these are the generations of Noah. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And to them were sons born after the flood. And it's going to start naming Japheth's descendants. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan, or Javan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tyrus. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Riphath, and Togarmah. So Gomer, his son named Ashkenaz. Ashkenaz come from Japheth. Judah come from Shem. So ain't no way. Okay, let's keep going. I'm gonna just flip the page. I ain't gonna pause it. Oh shoot, sorry, gotta fold it. And the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, Kittim, and Dudanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided, in their lands, everyone after his tongue, after their families and their nations. That's the first time the word Gentiles was used, I believe, in the Bible. But you see those names. Ashkenaz and all the other names, by these were the isles of the Gentiles divided. So when they say that Gentiles was going to be in his land, you're going to see that he meant that. Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39 goes into full detail talking about how these people entered his land and took over his land. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him. Where we seen them at? Them names was under the descendants of Japheth. And say thus, says the Lord God, Behold, I'm against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. I ain't even gonna go in full detail today with this, but I just wanted to show y'all them names of God entering his land. Read it for yourselves, man. I give it to y'all 40 minutes in. I'll be having to go over these things because I'll be go back and feeling some things that I left out or didn't feel like I ain't break it down as much as I could have. Wake up, y'all. Time is short. They got digital IDs coming, full control. And you got to know these things because Revelations chapter 12 tell you about the dragon that's persecuting the woman. The woman is Israel that brought forth the man-child, which is Jesus Christ, Yahusha. And the serpent mad, the devil mad that he couldn't get him. He couldn't kill that man-child. He couldn't stop him. He couldn't stop his plan. So what do? And this is a future prophecy. The dragon was mad with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. So they've been raging war out to get us, and we don't even know who our enemies is. We don't even know who our enemies are. We done forgot. Now, we ain't to be racist and go out and start nothing, but we must know so we can get in line, get in order, and be ready to move when we need to. Because these days are coming that the beast rise from the sea to get power, to be worshipped. And all this digital ID stuff that's coming is so we can get to the place where we have to take the mark of the beast. And he calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell except he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here's wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Red shield, red dragon. Come on, man.